Phoebe Brooks pushed the market gate open with her hip, balancing a sack of tomatoes in one hand and a battered notebook in the other. Sweat dotted her forehead, but her eyes stayed bright. 2 more weeks of saving, she whispered, calculating silently. Then I can pay the first semester fee. Inside the family living room, Elelliana lounged on a velvet sofa, scrolling through her phone. Loud Afrobeats poured from a portable speaker. "Ellie, please turn it down," Phoebe said, dropping the tomatoes on the tiny kitchen table. "Mama is resting." Elelliana barely looked up. "Mama loves this song. Besides, I'm filming a reel." She raised her phone and blew a kiss to the lens. Mrs. Brooks emerged, tying her wrapper. "Phoebe, why are you disturbing your sister's creativity?" Phoebe straightened. "I wasn't, Mama. I just thought. Elelliana mimicked, rolling her eyes. Always thinking, never shining. Mr. Brooks entered, newspaper tucked under his arm. "Ellie, did you need cash for that influencer workshop?" Elelliana beamed. "Yes, Daddy. Only 50,000 naira. Without hesitation, he peeled notes from his wallet. "Invest in your talent." "Phoebe, fetch my tea." Phoebe bit her lip, then nodded. In the kitchen, she stirred weak tea leaves, fighting the familiar sting of jealousy. 50,000, that's 3 months of my savings. That evening, a neighbor knocked. Mama Chichi, the tailor. "Phoebe, can you help me finish an urgent order tonight? I'll pay double." Phoebe's eyes widened. "Yes, Ma. I'll come after dinner." At the table, Mrs. Brooks ladled pepper soup for Elelliana first, giving Phoebe the bony pieces. "You always rush off somewhere." "Sit, eat. I have sewing work," Phoebe explained. "Extra money for school." Elelliana slurped her soup. School. Who even cares about degrees now? Real money is online." Mr. Brooks chuckled. "Your sister has a point, Phoebe. You might learn a thing or two from her about modern success." Phoebe forced a smile. "Maybe, but please excuse me." In Mama Chichi's shop, humming machines filled the night air. Phoebe stitched steadily, her fingers swift. Mama Chichi watched, impressed. "Your precision is gold." "Thank you, Ma," Phoebe replied, tired but satisfied. Near midnight, Phoebe tiptoed home. Light from Elelliana's room spilled into the hallway. Inside, Elelliana practiced poses before a ring light. "You're just coming back?" Elelliana asked, arching a brow. "Yes. Look at you, exhausted and broke." Meanwhile, I gained 2,000 followers today. She blew another kiss to her phone. "Good night, worker bee." Phoebe retreated, her small room cluttered with textbooks and fabric scraps. She opened her notebook and added the tailor's payment, 10,000 naira. She smiled, closer to her dream. A soft knock came. Mrs. Brooks peeked in. "Phoebe, you left the gate unlocked. Be more careful. If something happened, your sister could be in danger." "I'm sorry, Mama." Mrs. Brooks closed the door without noticing Phoebe's swollen fingers. Phoebe exhaled, staring at the moon through a cracked window. "Someday," she whispered, "they'll see me too." She set her alarm for 4 a.m., ready to begin again. The Monday sun had hardly climbed when Elelliana strutted into the breakfast nook wearing a bright blazer and 6-inch heels. A glossy badge swung from her neck. Phoebe, already dressed for her market shift, smiled. "First day, sis. You look sharp." Elelliana scoffed. "This place? Please. I only took the job because Daddy's friend begged the HR manager. 9-to-5 life is for broke people who dream small." Mrs. Brooks set a plate of jollof rice in front of her elder daughter. "Eat well, Ellie. You need strength. And transport money," Elelliana added, opening her palm. Mr. Brooks slid 2 crisp 1,000 naira notes across the table. "Take a taxi. A lady of your class can't squeeze into a crowded danfo." Phoebe cleared her throat. "Daddy, taxis during rush hour cost a lot." "The bus is fine." Elelliana cut in. "That's your problem, Phoebe. Poverty thinking. Imagine me in a sweaty bus, stinking wig, glue melting on my edges." Mrs. Brooks turned to Phoebe. "Your sister represents this family. She must appear successful." First week misery. 3 days later, Elelliana phoned her mother during her lunch break, voice dripping with drama. "Mummy, this office is a prison. They expect me to sit at a desk, typing meaningless reports. And do you know the worst part? I had to queue for a ride this morning. The conductor yelled at people like goats. Mrs. Brooks tooted sympathetically. I'm sorry, my dear. We'll find a solution. That evening, the parents called an emergency family meeting. Elelliana flopped on the sofa, groaning. Mr. Brooks clasped his hands. Your sister is under stress. She needs a car. Nothing extravagant, just respectable. Phoebe looked up from her sewing kit. A car? But where will the money come from? Mrs. Brooks exchanged a quick glance with her husband. We have some options, she murmured. Let adults worry about adult problems. Whispered plans. Later that night, after everyone pretended to sleep, Mr. and Mrs. Brooks stood outside Phoebe's small room. Through the cracked door, they saw her curled around an open notebook, exhausted, a pen still in hand. Mrs. Brooks whispered, she has been saving for years. The money sits idle while Elelliana suffers. Mr. Brooks sighed. A temporary loan. We'll pay her back soon. Bonus season is close. They inched into the room, lifted the wooden cash box from under Phoebe's bed, and slipped out like ghosts. The big surprise. Saturday morning, the Brooks compound buzzed with excitement. A cherry-red hatchback, ribbons tied to the mirrors, gleamed in the driveway. Neighbors gathered to admire. Elelliana squealed, filming herself. Guys, look at my new whip. Hard work pays. She didn't mention the work had lasted only 4 days. Phoebe appeared at the gate, plastic bowls clinking in her grocery bag. Her eyes widened. Whose car is this? Elelliana flipped her braids. Mine, obviously. Daddy and Mommy came through for their star girl. Phoebe forced a smile and hurried into the house. Something nagged at her, an icy whisper she refused to hear until she reached her room and dropped to her knees. The wooden box lay open, empty. Every last note, every single coin gone. A gasp tore from her throat. She searched again, under textiles, inside textbooks, behind the faded curtain. Nothing. Phoebe clutched the box, heart pounding, and marched to the living room where her parents admired Elelliana, now posing for photos against the car. Mama! Daddy, where's my money? Silence fell. Even Elelliana lowered her phone. Mr. Brooks cleared his throat. Which money? My school fees. You know I keep them in that blue box. Mrs. Brooks smoothed her wrapper. Phoebe, calm down. We borrowed it. For family progress. Your sister needed reliable transport. Phoebe's voice cracked. Borrowed without asking me. Elelliana folded her arms. Ugh, you're so dramatic. You always act like a martyr. Look, the driver's seat hugs me. I'm living soft. Ellie, Mrs. Brooks scolded gently, then turned back to Phoebe. You have to stop thinking only of yourself. A car keeps Elelliana safe from harassment on buses. Isn't that worth your contribution? My contribution? Phoebe's cheeks burned. I scrubbed toilets, carried crates, stitched till my fingers bled. That money is my dream. Mr. Brooks stepped forward. Mind your tone. We are your parents. We make sacrifices for both daughters. You sacrificed me, Phoebe whispered. Tears blurred her vision. When will my turn come? Mrs. Brooks waved a dismissive hand. Don't start that jealousy talk. Be a supportive sister. God will reward you later. Phoebe's shoulders sagged. She glanced at Elelliana, who was already live-streaming again, flashing car keys. Phoebe's voice steadied. Mama, Daddy, give me a date. When will you return my money? Mr. Brooks bristled. You dare to demand deadlines like we are strangers? Ungrateful child. Mrs. Brooks nodded. We feed you. We house you. Yet you accuse us. Phoebe felt the room tilt. Betrayal pressed on her chest like a stone. After a long silence, she said, All right, I won't trouble you again. Packing up. That night, while Elelliana recorded a celebratory dance clip beside the car headlights, Phoebe folded her few clothes into a faded duffel bag. She added her textbooks, a spool of thread, and her grandmother's tiny sewing machine, her most faithful friend. From the doorway, Mrs. Brooks watched. Where do you think you're going? I need space. I found a girls' hostel near the university. Small, but I can manage. Elelliana just got a car. We need you here to help with chores, her mother protested. Phoebe tied the bag's zip. I have help since I could walk. Tonight, I help myself. She brushed past her mother gently, reached the sitting room, and paused. Mr. Brooks sat in his armchair, eyes on the news but ears clearly alert. "Daddy, thank you for everything good you ever did for me," she said softly. He refused to meet her gaze. "Wherever you roam, remember family first." Phoebe nodded, tears sliding down. "I will remember. I hope one day you remember me too." Elelliana's laughter floated in from outside. Without another word, Phoebe stepped into the cool night, duffel slung over one shoulder, sewing machine in the other hand. The road out. The street lamps flickered as she walked. Each step sounded like a goodbye. Goodbye to nights of unequal soup portions, to unacknowledged report cards, to muffled cries under pillowcases. At the corner, she met Mama Chi-Chi locking her tailor shop. "Child, where to with all that load?" Phoebe managed a smile. "Starting new. I'll be fine." The tailor clasped her arm. "You have skill. The hostel road is dark and rough. Let my son drive you." Phoebe hesitated, then nodded. 10 minutes later, she sat in the back of a rickety pickup, sewing machine beside her, stars overhead. She whispered to herself, "This pain will plant a seed. I will grow." When the hostel gate appeared, paint peeling, security man half asleep, Phoebe straightened. She paid the driver with her last small notes and thanked him. Inside, the matron handed her a rusty key. Room 4A, top floor left. The tiny room smelled of dust and hope. Phoebe placed the sewing machine on the lone desk, then opened her notebook to an empty page. She wrote, "Budget reset. Goal, 0 to 100,000 naira. Timeline, 6 months. Skills to monetize, tailoring, tutoring, vegetable resell." A single tear splashed on the paper. She wiped it gently, whispered a prayer, and lay down on the thin mattress. Tomorrow, Lagos traffic would roar again, and hunger would rumble, but Phoebe's spirit, battered yet unbroken, would rise. Morning after, roosters crowed before dawn. Phoebe woke, spine aching but heart steady. She pinned a sheet over the cracked window, performed a quick devotion, and headed downstairs with her notebook. By the gate, she noticed bright posters for a local Women in Tech scholarship pinned to a coconut tree. "Learn coding, earn while you study," it read. Phoebe tore one slip with the contact number, tucked it into her book, and smiled. "My journey is mine." Miles away, in the Brooks compound, Elelliana revved her new engine, ready for a grand entrance at work. Mrs. Brooks waved proudly. Mr. Brooks filmed her departure. Only after the dust settled did they notice the silence inside the house. The missing hum of Phoebe's early morning chores, the absent clatter of her sewing scissors, the soft greetings that began each day. Mrs. Brooks turned to her husband, uncertainty clouding her eyes. "You think she'll be okay?" Mr. Brooks adjusted his collar, uneasy. "She's stubborn. She'll return when she cools down," he said, hoping his voice sounded sure. But deep inside, a small seed of doubt took root, because for the first time, the favored child's laughter did not fill every corner, and the overlooked child's absence felt like the house had lost its heartbeat. Bright midday, traffic flowed down I-Corda Road. Elelliana Brooks balanced her phone on the dashboard mount, ring light glaring. "Hey, Jims," she chirped to her 60,000 followers. "Your girl's late, but still cute. Watch me overtake these turtles." She let one manicured hand hover near the steering wheel while the other flicked through comment bubbles. Horns blared. "Elelliana, eyes on the road," a follower typed. She laughed. "Relax." A petrol tanker loomed ahead. Elelliana jerked the wheel, tires screeching. The phone clattered, live stream tilting wildly. A bang, glass shattered, metal crumpled, airbags exploded like angry pillows. Everything went white, then silent. Weeks of darkness. Elelliana sat on the couch in a neck brace, scrolling old videos of herself dancing beside the now-wrecked car. Like still rolled in, but she felt nothing. Mrs. Brooks fussed. "You must return the company laptop tomorrow. HR keeps calling." Elelliana's voice was flat. "I'm not going back there. They gossip about me." "You can't stay idle," her father warned. She stared at the floor. "I don't care." Medical bills drained the family's savings. Without Phoebe's daily help, chores piled up. Mr. Brooks grew tense. "Elelliana, at least update your CV." "I said I'm done with 9 to 5, she snapped, then retreated to her room, curtains drawn. An invitation to quick cash. One humid evening, Elelliana's phone pinged. DM babe, long time. Need easy money? Join our cyber hustle. No stress, all profit. Elelliana typed back, I'm interested. She pictured nightclub lights and designer bags reclaiming her spotlight. At a rooftop bar, she met Z and his crew. Damelaire, short and wiry, and Bliss, a woman with diamond studs and sharp eyes. Laptops glowed beside cocktails. Bliss smirked. Influencer royalty in the building. You sure you're ready for real work? Elelliana lifted her chin. I learned fast. Z slid a MacBook across. We run romance scams on lonely foreigners. You'll charm them. We handle the tech. Split is 60-40. Your face sells the dream. She hesitated, remembering Phoebe's scolding voice about honest labor. Then she saw Bliss tap card details on the screen. Instant credit alert chimed. 400,000 Nigerian nairas. Elelliana exhaled. Teach me. First taste of dirty money. Back home at dawn, she hid wads of cash inside a shoebox. Mrs. Brooks peeked in. Elelliana, where did you get that money? A brand deal. Elelliana lied smoothly. Relax, Mum. Blessings are back. Her mother's worry lines softened. Relief outweighed suspicion. Within a month, Elelliana rented a furnished apartment in Lekki Phase 1, complete with neon wall art and a walk-in closet. Instagram stories showed champagne towers and diamond anklets. Followers multiplied. Caption, obedience to the grind brings luxury. Don't ask my source, ask your God. Meanwhile, across town, Phoebe carried a stack of lecture notes across the campus lawn of Yaba Tech. Her roommate and best friend, Ada, waved a scholarship letter. Girl, we did it. Full tuition plus a laptop grant. Phoebe grinned, hugging her. God is good. That afternoon, she phoned her parents. Mama, I got the Women in Tech scholarship. There was a pause. Then Mrs. Brooks answered weakly. Congratulations, dear. I'm busy right now. Phoebe's smile dimmed. Tell Daddy I said hello. She hung up, battling the familiar ache of being an afterthought. But the ache couldn't smother her growing confidence. At night, in the hostel, Phoebe tutored classmates on basic coding. She also repaired ripped uniforms for pocket money. Ada watched. One day you'll run your own company. Phoebe laughed. Let's start with passing data structures first. Deeper into the web. Elelliana's earnings soared. She messaged multiple targets when a divorced American named Randall. Randall, my queen, when can we meet? She typed, soon, baby. But my sick cousin needs surgery. $5000 will save him. Money arrived in hours. Bliss nodded approval. You've got talent. But talent couldn't hide growing paranoia. Every siren outside made Elelliana flinch. One night, her bank flagged a large transfer. She hurled her phone, screaming. Z calmed her. Use crypto wallets only. At a Friday club event, paparazzi snapped her exiting a rented Lamborghini. The headline on a gossip blog read, Ex-influencer rebounds as crypto queen. Comments raved. Haters speculated fraud. Elelliana replied with laughing emojis. Yet inside, she trembled. Sisters crossed paths. Months later, a tech conference at Eco Hotel paired college volunteers with VIP guests. Phoebe, wearing a simple blazer, guided attendees. Suddenly she froze. Elelliana swept in, sequin gown glittering, flanked by Bliss and Damelaire. Cameras flashed. Phoebe approached, heart pounding. Elelliana glanced. Recognition flickering before a practiced smile slid on. Oh, hello. You work here. I'm volunteering. How are you? Blessed and busy, Elelliana sang, eyes already drifting. See you around. She glided away. Ada whispered, was that your sister? She looks like a Nollywood star. Phoebe forced a shrug. Different paths. After party confrontation. Late that night, Phoebe waited near the hotel exit. Elelliana emerged, tipsy, balancing stilettos. Ellie, we need to talk. Elelliana sighed dramatically. Another lecture for Miss Morality? I'm not your enemy, Phoebe said softly. I'm worried. Where does the money come from? From brains. Something you wouldn't understand, Elelliana snapped. Save your charity. My life is fire. Phoebe's eyes filled. Remember the car crash. Don't crash your soul too. Leave my soul out of your poverty gospel. Elelliana barked, turning away. Bliss beckoned from the SUV. They sped off into the neon night. Shadows lengthened. Fraud rings demanded higher risks, forging passports, laundering through art auctions. Z whispered, biggest score yet, Euro 200,000. But customs are sniffing around. Elelliana swallowed hard. What if we get caught? Bliss laughed. Golden girls never fall, unless they doubt. Meanwhile, Phoebe presented her first mini-app at school, a budgeting tool for market women. Professors praised its clarity. A local NGO offered a stipend to expand it. When the email arrived, Phoebe clapped her hands, eyes shining. She texted her parents, good news. No reply. She sighed but whispered, keep climbing. Cracks in the glamour. Rent, bottles, and Bitcoin fees devoured Elelliana's income. Randall suddenly reported unauthorized charges. U.S. detectives contacted Nigerian cybercrime units. Bliss announced, we lie low, freeze all socials. Elelliana protested, my brand will die. Z glared, better a dead brand than prison. Night after night, Elelliana scrolled her silent accounts, missing the dopamine of likes. No more VIP tables would have her without displays of wealth. She felt an old darkness creeping, same as after the crash. Desperate, she called home. Mrs. Brooks answered, Mummy, I need help. But Mr. Brooks took the phone. You ignored family for strangers' applause. We mortgaged part of the house to clear your hospital debt. We have nothing left. Static hummed between them. Elelliana's eyes welled. Daddy, he whispered, come home if you want rice and a roof. But no more easy money. Elelliana hung up, pride choking her. Parallel dawn. Sunlight filtered into Phoebe's hostel as she finished debugging code. Ada burst in. Girl, the State Innovation Board shortlisted your app for funding. Grand prize, 2 million Nigerian nairas. Phoebe covered her mouth, tears of joy spilling. Me? Oh, thank you, God. Across the city, Elelliana drew curtains in her apartment, watching the sea. Crypto prices plummeted green to red on her screen. Messages from Bliss. Police raided Z's place. Lay low. Elelliana's hand shook. She reached for her phone to start a live video, then remembered the frozen accounts and set it down, face pale. 2 sisters, 2 skylines, one glowing with new promise, the other dimming under weighty clouds. Evening lights glowed over Lekki as Elelliana Brooks stepped onto the balcony of her rented penthouse. She opened Instagram Live. Hey, Gems, new giveaway tonight, she chirped, flashing a designer purse. Across town, Lydia Ocone, the only daughter of Honorable Patrick Ocone, Minister of Petroleum, watched the stream. A week earlier, Elelliana, posing online as Dr. Callista, had promised Lydia a secret investment to triple her allowance. The girl had wired $50,000. Inside a cybercrime control room, detectives studied Elelliana's broadcast. Inspector Cunnell pointed at a monitor. The money just hit her wallet. Move. The sting. Elelliana sipped champagne, phone still live. A doorbell rang. Room service, she joked to her followers and swanned toward the foyer. The door burst open. Officers in black vests stormed in. EFCC. Hands where we can see them. Elelliana froze. Stream still running. Comments exploded. What's happening? Is this real? An officer raised the phone, showing her shocked face. The hashtag formed instantly. Hashtag Slay Queen Scammer. Interrogation. At the station, Elelliana faced Inspector Cunnell. You duped Honorable Ocone's daughter. That makes it state business. I was only marketing crypto, she stammered. Save it. He slid screenshots of fake profiles, bank logs, and Lydia's chats across the table. Enough to bury you. Tears spilled. Can I call my parents? Home in chaos. The Brooks living room buzzed with breaking news reports. Mrs. Brooks clasped her head. Anchor. Influencer Elelliana Brooks has been arrested in a high-profile cyber fraud sting. Footage showed Elelliana, handcuffed, still in designer heels. My baby, Mrs. Brooks whispered. Outside, journalists crowded the gate. Mr. Brooks staggered to the window. Tell them to leave, he muttered, sweat beading. A neighbor shouted, "Brooks' family, shame." Mr. Brooks clutched his chest and collapsed. Mrs. Brooks screamed while neighbors phoned an ambulance. Courtroom fire. 3 weeks later, the courtroom overflowed with press. Phoebe, at the back, held Ada's hand. Elelliana, in a plain jumpsuit, looked small without makeup. The gavel struck. Elelliana Amaka Brooks, you are guilty of obtaining money by false pretense and conspiracy to defraud. Elelliana sobbed, "I'm sorry, my lord. The law must deter others. You are sentenced to 15 years imprisonment. No option of fine, no bail." Gasps echoed. Cameras flashed. The hashtag trended again. Aftermath. Phoebe visited the hospital where her father lay recovering from a mild stroke. He opened his eyes. "Phoebe, I failed you." She squeezed his hand. "We are still a family, Daddy. We'll rebuild." Outside, media vans idled like vultures. A reporter spoke live. Once hailed as the ultimate slay queen, Elelliana Brooks now begins a 15-year term behind bars. Mr. Ade from next door shook his head at the cameras. "Favoritism ruins children," he told a reporter. Later that night, Mrs. Brooks knelt by her husband's bed. "We chased glitter and ignored gold," she whispered, thinking of Phoebe. Phoebe, exhausted yet determined, replied, "We can still choose better, Mama. I'll help." Soft harmattan light drifted across the University of Lagos auditorium as the dean stepped to the lectern. Best graduating student, Department of Computer Science, Miss Phoebe Amaka Brooks. Applause thundered. Phoebe rose in a neat sky blue gown, eyes shining. She thought of night shifts at the hostel, the cramped room where her sewing machine hummed beside her laptop. It was worth it. Outside, Ada enveloped her in a hug. "You did it, Professor Brooks." Phoebe laughed. "Slow down, I'm still an intern." A door opens. 2 weeks later, she sat in a glass-walled office at GlowNet Technologies, a multinational firm expanding its Lagos hub. The hiring manager, Mrs. Mensah, pushed a contract across the desk. "Your capstone app for market women impressed our director in Nairobi. Full-time software engineer, remote options, housing allowance." Phoebe inhaled. "Thank you, Ma. I won't let the team down." That night, she video called Ada from her new studio flat. "GlowNet, double my scholarship stipend. First salary lands next month." Ada squealed. "Girl, the glow-up is real." Speaking to 1,000 sisters. One rainy Saturday, Phoebe propped her phone on a window ledge and hit record. "Hi, everyone. My name is Phoebe Brooks. For years ago, I was selling tomatoes and sewing uniforms. Today, I build apps for an international company. If I can do it, you can too. Each week, I'll share free coding lessons and budgeting tips." She posted the video under the channel Grace Code. By dawn, comments poured in. "I'm 17, dropped out after SS3. Please teach me." Subscribed. "You give me hope." Within 4 months, her subscriber count soared past 300,000. Sponsors offered ad deals. Phoebe accepted only those that gave discounted data bundles to students. Meeting Daniel Owen. GlowNet sent Phoebe to a tech entrepreneurship summit at the Landmark Center. During a coffee break, she bumped her laptop bag against a tall man checking prototype drones. Laptops clattered. They scrambled to catch them. "I'm so sorry," Phoebe blurted. He grinned. "No harm done. I'm Daniel Owen, founder of Green Sky Logistics." They chatted about last-mile delivery, rural internet, and Ghanaian jollof versus Nigerian. Daniel's laugh came easily. He listened more than he spoke. Before leaving, he asked, "Can I take you to lunch next weekend? I promise no drone talk, maybe small." Phoebe smiled. Small is acceptable. Blossoming. Dates followed. Suya by Bar Beach, night walks under Falomo bridge lights. Daniel admired her channel. "You turn complex code into simple stories. The world needs that." One Friday, on 3rd Mainland Bridge, he stopped the car, heart racing. "Traffic?" she joked. "No life." He pulled out a slim ring. "Phoebe, you're my calm in the chaos. Marry me." Tears filled her eyes. "Yes, Daniel." Passing drivers honked. Strangers cheered. Viral wedding. The ceremony blended Yoruba and Igbo traditions at a garden on Banana Island. Guests wore teal aso abi. Ada danced front row. Half the country watched the live stream titled #GraceandGreenSky. Commenters gushed over the former market girl marrying a tech mogul. In Ikoyi prison's female wing, inmates gathered around the common room television. Elelliana, thinner now, stared at the screen. She touched Phoebe's glowing face and whispered, "I'm proud of you, sis." Then tears slid silently. Collapse of pride. Months earlier, journalists had abandoned the Brooks house for juicier scandals. Bills piled high. The mortgage on the half-repaired roof lapsed. Mr. Brooks's teaching salary was suspended after his collapse kept him home. Mrs. Brooks sold jewelry to buy hypertension medicine. One humid afternoon, the couple stood at Phoebe's apartment gate, an address they learned from a neighbor's rumor. Guards called up. Phoebe's heart squeezed, but she told them, "Let them in." Her parents entered the airy living room, gazes down. Mr. Brooks cleared his throat. "Daughter, we wronged you gravely." Mrs. Brooks's eyes were red. "We let favoritism blind us. Elelliana's fall showed us our failure. Can you ever forgive us?" Phoebe's chest tightened. Memories flashed. Empty soup bowls, missing tuition money, lonely nights at the hostel. Yet she also pictured her father teaching her to spell at age 5, her mother's lullabies. She spoke slowly. "Forgiveness is a journey, not a switch. But I want peace. I can help with hospital bills and find you a small flat." Tears streamed down Mrs. Brooks's cheeks. "Thank you, Phoebe. We will not misuse your kindness again." Phoebe nodded. "One condition, you both attend family therapy Glonet offers to staff relatives. We must heal, not hide." They agreed, relief mixing with shame. Visit behind bars. A month later, Phoebe walked through Ikoyi prison's metal gates, escorted by a matron. The echo of locks slammed behind her. Elelliana emerged from the visitor's corridor in a pale orange uniform, eyes wide. For a moment, they simply stared. "Elelliana," Phoebe whispered. Elelliana swallowed hard. "I don't deserve this visit. You're still my sister." They sat across a scratched table. Elelliana's voice trembled. "Every night, I replay my mistakes, stealing your dream, chasing fake applause. I ruined our family name." Phoebe reached for her hands through the gap. "Actions were terrible, but you are not beyond redemption." Elelliana sobbed. "I watch your videos during library hour. They gave me courage to join the prison literacy class. I'm learning Python now. Imagine." Phoebe smiled, tears glistening. "I brought you textbooks and a USB of offline tutorials." The warden approved. Elelliana squeezed her sister's fingers. "When I leave here, 2025 feels far. I want to build something honest. Will you give me a second chance?" Phoebe's voice was firm yet warm. "Work on yourself. I'll be waiting." A new chapter for all. Back in her car, Phoebe inhaled deeply. Daniel called. "How did it go?" "Painful, but hopeful," she replied. "She's trying to learn, Daniel. I believe she will grow." At home, Phoebe opened her next YouTube video. "Hello, family. Today we talk about forgiveness and boundaries, how they can coexist. Because sometimes, grace is the bridge between ashes and tomorrow." Comments flooded in. "Needed this after my brother's mistakes. Please invite a therapist to discuss family healing." Phoebe pressed hard on each. Across the city, Mr. and Mrs. Brooks sat in a modest 2-room apartment Maya Owen, Daniel's lawyer, helped lease. A family therapy brochure lay on the table. Mr. Brooks exhaled. "Our daughter became the parent we should have been." Mrs. Brooks nodded. "Let's not waste her mercy." Full circle. 6 months later, Phoebe launched Grace Code Foundation, partnering with Glonet and GreenSky to equip public school girls with laptops and mentorship. The maiden workshop filled a stadium in Surrey. Phoebe stepped on stage beside Daniel. "My story began with uneven love," she told the crowd. "But look at this even sea of faces. If you've ever felt unseen, remember, value isn't given by applause. It's planted inside you." Cheers rose, hundreds of hands waving. In a reserved seat, Mrs. Brooks dabbed her eyes while Mr. Brooks clapped proudly. Back in prison, Elelliana earned a certificate in digital literacy. The warden handed her a letter, Phoebe's address stamped on pink stationery. "Keep going," it read. "The future still has room for your light." Elelliana pressed the paper to her heart. For the first time in years, hope sprouted, small but real. On a cool December night, Phoebe and Daniel sat on their balcony, Lego's skyline glittering. "Hard to believe," Daniel said, "that everything started with a sack of tomatoes and a busted sewing machine." Phoebe smiled softly. "Hard journeys make deep roots." She lifted her phone, ready to film another episode, but paused. Instead, she leaned into Daniel's shoulder, watching the city lights flicker like 1,000 second chances.